What's going on, you guys? Welcome to Uniquely Made, where we do things uniquely different. And today, let's get fit. As you guys might have known, if you're looking at my Instagram page, Uniquely Fit, your boy is on a health journey, and I'm trying to do things a little bit different in life. I'm just trying to get my health back. So, I started doing that after a bunch of trial and error just through life, you know what I'm saying, ups and downs, you know, the roller coaster of weight that we go on, trying this diet, trying that diet, you know, doing these exercises, doing that exercise, you knock off 10, 15 pounds, and then boom, it just comes back just like that, like it we're just taking a break or just took a nap or something like that. Well, I told you guys I was going to be vulnerable. So every Wednesday, I want to do a vlog, and I want to talk about where I am in my health journey and what that looks like for me. And so I started taking Zepbound as of March 19th. So every Monday is the date that I like to use as when I like to do my injections. So for right now, every Monday. So I'm going to bring a video to you guys every Wednesday. Now, is that going to change? It could. But for right now, we're going to stick with Wednesday so you guys can follow along the journey. And I want you guys to really be interactive with me. You know, I want you to hop in the comments. I want you to tell me, like, hey, you're doing this wrong. Hey, you're doing this right. Hey, here's some encouragement. Hey, have you tried, you know, this diet plan? Hey, this worked for me. Hey, I did this, but it didn't work for me. I really want to talk to you guys. I want to hear from you guys. I want this to be a community thing, because you can't really go through life without community. I've learned that, trust me. You got to have community, because community is what keeps us going. So check this out. So March 9th was my first time taking the shot, and March 16th, I took my second shot. I got on the scale. I was down 2 pounds. One of these days, I'll stitch this whole thing together, and I'll put like a whole story together. But right now, we're just doing it week by week. So let's talk about my first week. How did my first week go? Well, the first day that I took it on that Monday, I ate probably an hour later. And I'll say that it was like a hard stop. My body was like, bro, you're full. Stop it. You can't take another bite. So I was like, all right. So I was like, let me listen to what my body is saying and not try to take another bite, because I felt like it would have made me sick. So I didn't want to do that. Now, I'll say I've never really had a shut off valve before. Like, I'm not gonna say I never felt full, because that'd be a lie. I felt full, but I felt like I could still keep eating, like I could still keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like an uncomfortable full, but it was like maybe a satisfactory full, but I still felt like I wanted to eat. So with this, no, it was a hard shut off. It was like, nope, store's closed, get out the store type situation. So I was like, all right. So I said, let me listen. So the next day, I had a couple of things that I had to do. I had to go out of town. I had to handle some business in my work life and in my personal life. And so I didn't get a chance to eat until later on. Now, too, I didn't get hungry. I didn't feel hungry. So not thinking about eating was like that, right? But that's normal, because sometimes when I get busy, I don't eat. But I do think about food. I just be like, I ain't really got time to eat, because I got to do this, that, and the third. I got to get all this stuff done. And I don't want to take a break, because I feel like if I take a break, then sometimes I might lose focus. That's that ADHD. But so I was like, okay, I need to eat. And it was like my body was telling me that I needed to eat. Like, it was like a different feeling that I can't say that I've really ever felt before. So I was like, okay, my body is telling me something. I need to listen. So I went and got something to eat. And I'll tell you what I ate in a second. So I went and got something to eat. And probably a couple of bites in, my body was like, nah, bro, you're full. That's another thing I'll say. Is like, my body was shutting down on the food like really quick. Like, I would take like 2 or 3 bites and my body was like, bro, you're full. Calm down. Calm down. So I was like, okay. I guess I got to learn how to eat on this, because like, this ain't going to, these bird bites, that's not going to help. You know what I'm saying? Like, your boy's about to be Skeletor up in this piece. So, I took a couple of bird bites, and what I had I had a hot dog. I know y'all finna get in the comments. It's cool. I mean, it was all beef. I don't know if that helps. I had some chili, and I like to fix my stuff up. So I had a little mustard, a little ketchup, some onions, things of that nature, on there, and it didn't agree with me. Let's just say that. Like, my GERD was acting up. And I'll say this. I'll say this. Spoiler alert. I didn't have any of the side effects. Like, I never really felt dizzy. Never really felt nauseated. Never really had any other pains. But my GERD did act up. Now, I was dealing with GERD already before this. So, I don't know if that was just the GERD that I already had, or if this was something new, if this was a cause of the medicine. Haven't really figured that out yet. But I was like, okay, it lasted for a little bit, and GERD sometimes can make you feel like you having a panic attack. Anybody that deals with GERD, you get the sensation in here, and you get the little palpitations going, you know what I'm saying? If you had GERD, you know what it is, right? So I was like, okay, that's not necessarily agreeing with me. So that was Tuesday, the second day, right? So Wednesday, I'm like, okay, I got to figure this thing out because I got to be able to eat. So I don't want to have these bird bites. So I figured like, if you space your meals out a little bit more, then you can eat a little bit more comfortably. So I started learning how to space my meals out. When my body says, hey, bro, you're hungry, it's time to go eat. I can't wait, right? Because what's going to happen is I'm going to wait and then try to combine everything at one time. And my body's going to reject that because it's going to be like, no, we're full. So if I eat whenever my body says, hey, you're hungry, then cool. You know what I'm saying? I can eat. And then later on, my body will say, you're hungry again. And then I can go eat and then I can be full. Right. So am I eating correctly yet? No, I'm still eating what I want to eat. So I'm not. But I'm doing everything in baby steps. I'm really not trying to reinvent the wheel in day one, because I think sometimes when you try to reinvent the wheel, at least for me, things can get a little overwhelmed. And then once you start getting overwhelmed, then it's kind of like, oh, snap, right? So I'm like, okay, let me take it step by step. So the rest of the week was pretty good. Like I said, I still had a little GERD situation. I still had the little, palpitations. But then I was like, okay, I need to narrow this down and see what is causing this, because I know that I'm reacting to something that I'm eating. Found out that I was reacting to the chili, and it's probably because of the tomatoes and, them being acidic and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Probably didn't necessarily agree with my system. And I think when you're on Zepbound or any of these type of GLP-1 drugs, I think what happens, anything that your body doesn't necessarily agree with is going to be tenfold. So like when you're not taking the supplement and you're just eating it, yeah, you might get a little heartburn, but it is what it is, right? But I think when you're taking the supplement, then this heartburn is going to be tenfold. So you're really going to notice the foods that don't agree with you, which is good, because now you can start weeding these foods out. So, all right, I don't need this food anymore because it doesn't agree with me. It's not that it doesn't agree with you because you're on the GLP-1. It actually never agreed with you, and this is my assumption. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming it never agreed with you. Your body just did not have the strength to tell you that to where you're like, no, I need to put it down. Like it was telling you, but it was just like maybe like a scratch in the surface. No, this is beating the door down when you're on GLP-1. So not only does it calm the food noise, but it also makes the alarms louder to what you don't need to be eating. So that's what I'm learning in week 1. So I'll be real vulnerable with you guys. Come in close. So I had an incident on Saturday. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I hadn't talked to them in a minute, and they texted me. It's like, are you alive? And I was like, sometimes I don't want to be. Now, why would I say that? I don't know. I don't know what was going on. And they was like, what? Well, what do you mean? And I was like, honestly, I don't feel like being here right now. Wow. So I don't know if it was, and I do deal with depression. So, and I am on a I am on medicine for that. I can't think of the name of it right now, but not Zepbound, but that's the name of the medicine I'm taking to lose the weight. But yeah, it's not coming to me. So, but anyway, is it Weeble? Yeah, I can't remember. So, but anyway, so I'm on a antidepressant medicine, right? And so I don't know if my depression was what caused that, but it's like I had a 30-second burst that I've never felt before. It's like this wave of emotions just hit me for like 30 seconds, and it was like a pot boiling over, and then it burst, and then it was done, and I was like, oh, okay, that was weird. So, and not to say that I've never been suicidal in life, because that would be a lie. I have been suicidal in life because like I stated before, I deal with depression. I've dealt with depression for a long time. And maybe that's a story that I'll tell one day, but just for this story's purposes, just want to give you guys a little context, right? So I still haven't determined where that came from or what led to that. Was that the Zepbound in my system and my system getting used to it, or was that actually me dealing with something in that moment? I have what I like to call SMP, which is the opposite of PMS. SMP is simple men problems. Simple men problems, So I don't know if that's what it was or something else. But like I said, after 30 seconds, it was gone. So that Saturday was cool. I went out, I ate, I chilled, because I needed to get out. Because I was like, man, I can't sit and stew in this. Like, anytime you're dealing with something and you're in a depressive state, if you have the opportunity to get out and do something else, please do that. Reach out to a friend, get some community, because you can't just sit and stew in it, because when you sit and stew in it, all it's going to do is make it worse. So fortunately, somebody had reached out to me in the moment I was going through what I was going through and didn't know. So I took the opportunity. I was like, they invited me out, so I was like, you know what, let me go, because I don't need to sit and stew on whatever this is. So Sunday came, and it was weird because Sunday was almost as if I had never taken a shot. So I'm not saying like I was like, oh my God, I gotta eat, but I could eat, and I wasn't getting the hardcore shut off that I was getting before. It just felt different. And it just felt like almost like a regular day. I even tested it too. I was like, okay, let me take another bite. Right? But I knew I was full, so I was like, you know what? Don't let me push it, because I knew that if I kept going, I was going to get sick. And I'm saying, like, my body was still letting me know, hey, bro, you keep pushing it, you're going to get sick. But, I'm saying, we're not going to stop you as hard. We're giving you a little bit of leeway, but don't push it, my guy. So I was like, all right, cool. So my thought process is that, at least in the beginning, because it's getting used to being in my body, at least in the beginning, that once you get to your 7th day, the drug starts to wear off a little bit. So you kind of start to go back to normal. Because I noticed that in the instructions, it said that if you miss your injection day, as long as it's not 4 days past, you can still take the injection and be on schedule. But if it's more than 4 days, you might as well just wait till your next injection day. So I'm assuming that once you get to like a certain number of days, it starts to go through your body. So now I'm on week 2, and I'm going to leave it right there, because we'll have this discussion next Wednesday, and I'll let you guys know how week 2 went and how it is affecting me and how I feel going through this process. But I will give you guys like maybe a little bit of trailer. So what I am going to start trying to work on is trying to incorporate more proteins and more fibers into my diet, as well as some other things, and back into my diet, so that my body can, react well and whatnot. And then getting it, I am exercising more, so I didn't mention that. So I did go on like some walks and I went on a bike ride, did like 8 miles and whatnot. And I have an electric bike, and I forgot to charge it, so I had to ride it like a regular bike. And let's just say, from not being active to going doing that, it was not fun, people. My body is still screaming at me, but it's cool. You know what I'm saying? So you got to move. You got to move. Sometimes it's gonna hurt. It is what it is, right? So that's where we're at. I'm trying to incorporate every week. I'm trying to add something new to my plate so that I'm building up a tolerance for these things. And then eventually I will get to the place to where these things are just becoming a habit, so that I can build some good, healthy habits, not just in my physical life, but also in my dietary life as well. Because being in a depressive state can really handicap you. It can really lock you down. It can really just put you in a position to where, like, man, I don't want to move. I don't care about life. Life can pass me by. I'm gonna be fine. You know what I'm saying? So when you're battling with the mental stuff, but you're trying to get back to who you used to be, there's a lot of bad habits that you have to break. And, you know, like I said, some people can do it all in one shake. For me, I want to just, hey, it took me time to get here. It's going to take me time to get out of here, right? So that's the plan. Now, I did notice that I had more energy. I did notice that I had to want to do stuff to where I haven't before. So like I said, I don't really know if this is the GLP-1 or if this is my mind tricking me into saying, hey, you're on this. Let's not just take it for granted. You need to do something else too, right? You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible says faith without works is not done. What does that mean? That basically means that if you're not putting in no work, then you can't expect something to come back to you, right? So that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to put in the work so that something can come back to us. And Rome wasn't built in a day, so it's going to take time, and I understand that, and I'm here for the journey, and I hope you guys can continue to support me on this journey. So look forward to talking to you guys next week as we do this all over again. We'll talk about week 2, baby. All right. Talk to y'all later.